want a ticket straight to them pearly gates.
So this update that released for Tekken 8 is currently a disaster. And in this video, I just want to explain, there's like really 7 major points that players are like latching onto. And in this video, I just want to break down all 7 points. There's a little bit more here and there. We're going to talk about all of it, but I just want to give you an understanding of why players are just so frustrated. And I know a lot of people's knee-jerk reaction is to say, oh, you guys are never happy. But this time, I feel the complaining is 100% justified. I want to start off and just show you guys some of the tweets that players are sending out, and then we'll dive really into the details. But this one is from iMusician, one of the greatest Yoshimitsus on the planet. Their tweet simply highlights how when Yoshimitsu patch notes, his bug fixes were supposed to fix a lot of his attacks that was whiffing. I have a video as well I could show you, but they tried to fix the character and he still is not working. That's kind of what players are upset about. It's like you're doing stuff to the game that 1, isn't working, and 2, that's making it worse. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the first example. Devil Jin's Heaven Gate nerfed. So Devil Jin has this combo where at the end of it, he grabs you, flies up in the air, and he choke slams you and breaks the floor. That move is called Heaven's Gate. Now, the choke slam part of that move, the damage on it was kind of unscaled, and also it broke the floor. The developers felt like it was too much, which is fair. Okay, we all feel Devil Jin is so powerful. And what they decided to do was they wanted to nerf Devil Jin, but what they did was instead of just attacking that one move and changing the properties of that one move, they instead changed the way that properties affects your character. And what that did was it had this ripple effect where, yes, you changed the Heaven's Gate, but you also affected so many other characters' combos and situations and moves. Now, everyone else's combos aren't working just because you wanted to nerf one of Devil Jin's attack. That whole ideology is kind of dumb. Who does that? Who say we want to change this one attack and then you break the whole entire game because of it? That is why players are kind of frustrated, because now there's a whole litany of issues and the developers have to figure out a way fast to backtrack on that. And that's one thing that players don't like. You were trying to affect Devil Jin and you ended up breaking the whole entire game. Now, the other thing that's also breaking the whole entire game is the wall tornado. When you're doing a combo and you kick the person and they do that kind of like spin in the air, that's the tornado. When Tekken 8 first came out, people were praising that feature, that mechanic, because it works perfectly. No matter the angle, no matter what, you always get a clean wall splat, and you could very accurately predict how your opponent is going to react when they hit the wall. Now, there was a few issues where you would hit someone with that wall tornado, splat them against the wall, and you would go to follow up, attack them, and both of your characters would switch sides. This is something that I experienced, probably you experienced. It was a common thing. Now, they wanted to change this, and they changed it by basically adding more hang time, air time to the resplat. Instead of resplatting immediately, now you're in the air for just a fraction of a second longer. Now, even though it's a small change, adding air time to the wall tornado, it has a huge ripple effect. After this change, where they add more air time to the wall tornado, you are no longer getting a clean wall splat. And this is making a lot of combos that was 100% guaranteed. You could do this combo 1,000 times and it will never drop. Now you're having this issue where sometimes it will work and sometimes it will not work. And in the game, as like a muscle memory as Tekken is, you cannot have these opportunities. Like, there's some combos that I refuse to do, even if there's a slight possibility of it not working. And this is kind of just happening to every character on a wide scale. So once again, you just have just like Devil Jin's Heaven Gate, same thing with the wall tornado. They wanted to fix one problem and then they created more problems as a result of it. The fact that they're not like actually like testing and balancing and trying to make sure this works is absurd. It feels like the developers just changed whatever they did in the game and they didn't even test it to figure out if it works. Because if we go back to Yoshimitsu, you lowered his hitbox, but you didn't even check to make sure that it could still hit a person while crouching. It's like, are you even testing what you're changing? And this is leading a lot of people to say that you guys need people to test your game, test your update, right? Now, let's move on to the next thing. The next thing that players are also upset about is Azucena's running 3-2 attack. That move was so OP because it locks you down and you have no options. You really just got to sit there until Azucena does something else, right? The 3-2 is a crazy attack. And people have been complaining about that since it, like the game came out, right? And the developers, they looked at all this criticism and they're like, okay, we understand the move is powerful, so we will allow you to sidestep out of it. And players are like, okay, cool. We can sidestep and we can like play the game. You know, we're not locked down. But here's the part. There's always a twist. When you sidestep out of 3-2, the 2 doesn't come out and the 3 just kind of floats. She floats very far away, and it's so far away to where you can't even like run up and punish her with Punisher. And yes, you're not locked down, but Azucena still gets away free. She can do this attack all day, every day, and you still cannot punish her for that. And a lot of people feel like this is once again just like some slimy balancing behavior. Like they said they wanted to nerf this attack, but this is not a true nerf. Azucena still gets off free and can spam this move all day. It kind of reminds me of how they used to do with Akuma. When Akuma back in Tekken 7 days, that character was so broken, so powerful. People would always complain about his death combos, right? He had combos that would take your whole health bar, and people said, developers, please nerf this. Do not allow this. And then you'll read the patch notes, and it'll say, you know, Akuma's down for whatever, nerfed. And people will think like, oh, okay, this is good. They fixed it. But then when you go to the game itself, you will find out that Akuma still can do that, you know, death combo, but now it's just a different way. That same garbage that was in Tekken 7 is reappearing in Tekken 8. And players, I don't know if players are drawing that connection the way I am, but I'm just realizing like they're not stopping with that same Tekken 7 OP character garbage. And I mean, they need to, bro. I don't understand why they just refuse to nerf things. Another thing that I want to talk about, Lars has this buff as well. So basically they changed one of Lars's attacks because they felt like Lars, in all situations that Lars did, it was a lose-lose. He basically does like a little slide forward. He does like a hop kick at you, and you can sidestep, right, to beat the options. And they made it to where the move is now, instead of being like -3 or +3, it's now +5. And you can't sidestep, and you can't rage art, you know, to counter it. And basically what this move does is just, it forces you to eat the mix-up. You gotta guess mid or low or a grab or something like that. You can't really like try to sidestep or rage art out of the situation because that +5 will just tap you out no matter what you do. Now, I do want to talk about the Battle Pass in just a second, but let's look at their tweet because they are acknowledging some of this stuff. Fighters, we confirm the following unintended character behaviors in patch 1.03. One is Zafina's backdash. I have no clue what's up with her backdash. I haven't seen any videos indicating some massive problem. But number 2 is the tornado moves, which we talked about before. So they are trying to fix that. Now, what's interesting is that they're not working on the Devil Jin situation, which in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, it is a massive problem. Also, there's like one item in the battle pass that's like ball. It's literally just named ball. It's a white ball. It's like crazy. Like, it's so memeable. It's so greedy. It's so like bad. Yuck. But let's continue. Let's move on. Let's talk about Eddie. Eddie is a character that I knew was going to be 100% broken when he released. It's just obvious because like Tekken 7 showed us that they are not easing up on the whole pay to win DLC thing. So with Eddie released, a lot of people were very interested to see what he is. Even if you're not playing him, you still just want to see like how he's like, is he going to be a monster? Is he going to be good, bad, whatever. One, players are realizing that Eddie is he's pretty top tier, right? He's pretty powerful. The first person to reach Demon God of Destruction is Rangchu. He says these characters mix-ups is buffed and poking is nerfed. For those of you who don't know, Eddie was kind of like a poking with punishing kind of character in Tekken 7, so they changed his gameplay around. Spaghetti Rip says, my first impression, he's not the movement and poke heavy character he used to be. The backdash has been nerfed and some safer pokes he could use to open up the opponent. I think that doesn't suit my playstyle or allow Legacy Eddie's skill to transfer to Tekken 8, but I think it's super fun to watch. Okay, that's just a bunch of garbage. But see, this is the part that I want to highlight. It's like, it's not the same Eddie of Tekken 7, where I really like to bring up the comparison between Kunimitsu from Tekken 7 and Tag 2. Tag 2, I loved Kunimitsu, but when they brought her back for Tekken 7, I just realized how much of her was changed and altered, and I feel like the character was totally different. It was a new character pretending to be Kunimitsu, and now we're seeing the same thing repeat itself with Eddie. They changed his backdashing, his whiff punishing, his poking, and they made him this over aggressive mix-up character that he wasn't before, and you're really losing a lot of the identity and a lot of the individuality with Eddie. Eddie is a very specialized character, and that's why he's so iconic, is because he's so unique and different. But in Tekken 8, he's kind of just the same as everyone else, and you're losing a lot of what made him so special. The point that I'm making is the next DLC character that they add into the game, Bruce, Armor King, whatever character that they bring back, they're probably going to put them through this overhaul transformation that Kunimitsu went through, that Eddie went through. And I just wonder, like, you guys are asking for your characters to come back, but when they do come back, I don't think they're going to be what you are expecting them to be. They're really changing a lot of these characters to fit into the mold of, aggression, pressure, press buttons, and a lot of these characters are losing their identity. Eddie lost his, Yoshimitsu lost his. Tekken 8 is all just about rush down and mix-ups and pressure, and if your character in the past didn't fit that mold, and if they come to Tekken 8, they're going to be completely different and change like drastically. It's going to be interesting to see how Eddie pans out in terms of usage, popularity, sales, everything. Because if he's wildly successful, Kunimitsu was kind of successful. So if he is super successful as well, they probably will continue that same 3-3-3 combo shenanigans with the next character, right? So overall, it's pretty interesting to see what's happening with Tekken 8. This game is super hype, it's super fun, and the developers are just dropping the ball at every turn, every corner. They're nerfing characters and making them less fun, and then also they're breaking the game when they're trying to fix it, and then they're also over monetizing the game to death. And then also a lot of characters are losing what made them so special in the past. It's interesting if you compare it to Street Fighter 6, where they have different fighting styles, different archetypes. Tekken only wants one archetype. Like, we love to say Street Fighter, Tekken is better than Street Fighter, but I don't know. Street Fighter, they allow you to play however you want to play. Tekken 8 does not. Tekken 8 wants you to play one way and one way only, and they're changing the entire game to fit that.